Come with me.
Man.
Nothing like a good melody.
Ah, nothing like Stephen Pascal singing a good melody.
Jason Robert Brown. Beautiful. I love Parade. It's one of my favorites. Parade by Jason Robert Brown. We love
Another
Parade.
show with a really happy ending.
Yes.
Oh, wait a minute.
What? Oh, yeah. Well, we like Songs for a New World, too. Jason Robert Brown.
I like that one. Actually, I like them all, but they're kind of depressing.
Yeah. Well, the one we're talking about today is not depressing. She doesn't end up leaving her husband. She just has an affair.
I remember having a book club about this when I was much, much younger. And I was just so sad that she didn't leave her husband, and the other women in the book club didn't see it that way. And I was like, oh.
You know, we've talked about the title of the show quite a bit, but we've never said it, so maybe we should let our audience
If you're
in.
not in on the secret, The Bridges of Madison County.
Wonderful book. That book was so popular. Remember when it came out? Everybody was reading it.
Waller, yes. And then a beautiful musical. I guess it depends on your point of view as to whether it's a happy ending or not.
That's true. That's true. You get through a lot in that last 2 or 3 minutes of the show.
Sure do. It's kind of like the end of What's the World According to Barb.
Yeah.
Oh,
Run, Jason Brown, run.
That's right. But gorgeous music.
Gorgeous music. Now, how does that have anything to do with what we're talking about today?
I do the tie-ins for the show, and so it might seem like a stretch for beer, but if you read the book, and if you haven't read the book, do yourself a favor. Wonderful book. Yes. There's a great scene where they've started their relationship, and Francesca's in taking a bath, and he brings her a beer. And there's this beautiful scene about how it's never occurred to her to have a beer in the bathtub and what kind of a luxury it is for her. And I thought, beer, Bridges of Madison County. So I think it got cut in the previews, the song about the beer in the bathtub. But if you're listening, maybe you want to put it back in.
Yeah. Okay. Send it to us. We'll sing it next time.
That's right. What are you going to make?
Well, I thought we would do the whole meal with beer. So, you know, dessert's my thing.
Yes.
So I'm doing beer brown sugar cookies, which are really good. Really good.
Fantastic.
So I'm going to start with that, and then I'm going to do a little entree to go with what you're making. I'm going to do some beer-battered coconut shrimp. Yeah, but we've got a lot to get to today. What are you making?
I am going to do beer bread.
Beer
which
bread?
Is so easy, but so good. Yeah,
It's got a lot of ingredients in it, doesn't it?
It does not have that many. I think you're going to want to try this recipe because it's easy peasy. And then I'm doing a broccoli cheese beer soup.
Yum.
Kind of like what they have up in Minnesota and Wisconsin.
When I was looking for beer recipes, almost everything was beer and cheese mixed up together. So we've done pretty well to find 4 different things.
I think it's gonna be
so
great.
I'm going to go ahead and start with the cookies. It's really not a strange little recipe except that you put beer into it. So I'm starting with
some of the good stuff.
Yeah, some butter, a stick of butter.
Start with a stick of butter.
And with some brown sugar, and we're going to let that cream together. Now my my butter has been sitting out so it's soft. It's softened brown.
You always want to have your butter come to room temperature, especially if you're going to be creaming it.
Now I've forgotten on occasion. Have you ever forgotten on occasion? And I put it in the microwave for about 15 seconds.
Yeah.
It's not the best, but it works.
If you can remember, and you want to take your eggs out too, and have those come to room temperature because they increase in volume and you're going to have a better outcome with your baked goods.
Speaking of eggs, would you hand me an egg, please? Thank you. We'll put that egg right in. I'm trusting no shell that's in there.
It's a little extra calcium.
It is. And can you pour me a... Well, I'll do it, so we'll have to...
The king of beers, everyone.
It's the banquet version, of course.
Good for a king.
I know nothing about beer. I just went to the grocery store and said, do you have beer?
Do you have beer?
Yes. And
well, you know, if you just need a generic... I shouldn't say that. I know there's people who love Coors. But I'm speaking on for my husband, who thinks, you know, there's not a lot of to a Coors. But if you just want a lighter beer, I think Coors is your beer. I'll be using something a little heavier so we can have a compare and contrast.
Well, I'm going to
How much beer did you put in there?
I put 1/3 of the cup.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with that for both of my recipes. So let's see.
Okay.
Kind of scrape down the salt. Well, actually, I'll let you do that since you're not doing anything fun.
Yes, chef.
And I'm going to work on the dry ingredients. Actually, let's pour a little vanilla in there too.
Oh, yes.
About a teaspoon. That's about a teaspoon, I think.
Good enough for me.
Yep. Right, we're gonna work on our dry ingredients. We've got 2 and a little more cups of flour. And we're gonna put some baking powder, some baking soda, some salt, and then we're gonna end with some cinnamon.
It smells so fun over here with the vanilla and the yeast of
I
the
know.
beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
So we're gonna just whisk that together. Pretty easy, huh?
It is.
That's all the ingredients. It's just it's a basic cookie recipe
Cookie with some beer.
with some beer in it.
You could drink the beer while you're eating your cookie.
Yeah. But the nice thing is that the texture of the cookie is so different than what you know. It's nice and crispy around the edges and then soft on the inside, which I really like.
Okay. So have you ever seen The Bridges of Madison County?
I saw it at Starlight and I loved it.
That's
I thought it
where
was
I
great.
saw it.
I thought it was wonderful.
I thought it was
The
beautiful.
only thing I did not like, and it's a script thing. He comes in for the first time. She meets him for the first time. They have this little scene, nothing special, and he starts to walk out. She goes, "Oh, can't you stay for dinner?" And I'm like, that developed awfully fast.
Well, you got a musical. You got to move things along.
Yeah, I liked how it moved along in the Meryl Streep movie, where they kind of, tease each other along. And like, every bedroom upstairs. I'm like, is that the appetizer?
Oh,
or
we
is it,
need. Oh, no, she's Italian. Right?
Yeah, we've got the wrong accent.
Yeah.
But we didn't plan for accents today. All right, I'm gonna add this,
Okay.
and it's calls to put it all in at one time.
Oh, well,
Because
we're gonna,
all of our liquid is in here already. There's
Okay.
nothing else, so we're gonna put it all in at one time.
You want to start that mixer nice and slow.
Nice. Well, I have another little trick I'm gonna show you.
Raise your hand if you've had a flour explosion in your kitchen.
We all have.
I usually hand mix it a little bit at first.
No, you just turn it on high and go.
Yeah. Woo!
I take my towel
You kind of cover it.
and I cover it up like this
Oh,
and
Kevin, you're so smart.
start it on low.
You're the smartest. The smartest. I'm going to do that next time. I have one of those little guards that fits over the lid. The
I know.
flour still kind of shoots
That's
up.
what I was gonna say. I have the same thing, and the flour shoots out.
Everybody's got a towel.
Yep.
There you go.
And you can hold
You
it
should
down.
send that into Cooks Illustrated.
And they probably won't illustrate it.
I
Look
bet
at
they
that,
would.
see?
Look at that. Bravo. Bravo.
So we're just gonna let that heat up a little bit, and then we're going to put it onto our baking sheet. We're gonna use 1 tablespoon for each cookie. This will get us about 3 dozen cookies.
Oh, that's a good amount.
Yep. So I'll finish this up if you want to get started
Okay.
on your next item.
Over. So I'm gonna start on my soup, which is a broccoli cheddar beer soup. So actually, you know what? I'm gonna pivot because my butter and my oil are still getting warm back there. So I'm gonna show you my beer bread.
You're gonna show us before it's cooked? Oh, I thought you were gonna show it to us.
Maybe show it to you later
Oh, okay.
if you're very, very nice.
Oh, coming for the appetizer.
Yes. Would you like to come over for beer bread?
Will you take my picture? Oh my!
Oh,
we
this
haven't
was-
sampled any of the
We
beer.
have
We have
beer
not.
off the course.
We're just getting
But
it.
I like it.
Just the smell is intoxicating.
Okay, so beer bread, easy and really yummy. So 3 cups of flour, 3 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 cup of sugar. So here's my sugar, putting that in. Let me grab this spoon back here.
My question is, do you have to have yeast for this bread?
Do not, because guess what?
What? Oh, beer.
This is another kind. This is a local. This is our very own Boulevard wheat beer. And so I'm just going to put this in.
I got mine locally too, right around this corner. It's a Hy-Vee.
Ours is brewed here in
Oh,
Kansas
brewed
City.
here. I thought you meant.
And the other thing I'm going to add is a 1/2 cup of melted butter. Look at that bubbling. Isn't that fun?
Bubbling brown
It's kind of
sugar.
fun to make too because of the bubble. And then in goes the butter into the dough.
You love to work in a bowl that lifts you right up to the edge, don't you?
It's like I'm a
That's your
trapeze artist.
That's your trademark.
Right up to the edge.
The bowl
baby.
right to the edge.
So we're gonna mix this up.
Yum.
Can you grab me a whisk?
I can, I think.
I know you're in the middle of your cookies, but I think a whisk would be really helpful.
I'll wash it off first.
Oh, you're the best.
We didn't plan. This is not a 2-whisk episode. There you go. You're welcome.
So while you're doing that and I'm mixing, let's talk a little bit more about the show.
Let's do.
It starred one of my two favorite voices, two phenomenal Broadway voices, Kelly O'Hara, oh my goodness, and Stephen Pascal, which I asked Kevin permission earlier and he said it was okay for me to say, he's kind of like sex on a stick. Whew! He's good looking, he sings like an angel, he's pretty phenomenal. So they were the stars. Let's see, what else do I know about it? Music and lyrics by Jason Robert Brown.
Spoon.
Book by, do you know who wrote the book? She also wrote the book for Secret Garden.
Oh. I don't know that show very well, I couldn't tell you.
I know. Marcia Norman.
Marcia Norman,
Good old
of
Marcia
course. Marcia.
The director was Bartlett Shear, who's pretty well known.
Yeah.
It opened February 20th of 2014. I was kind of surprised it didn't play very long.
No, it didn't.
It only ran for 3 months.
I have to say, though, it's one of the most beautiful scores.
Yeah,
That I've
it
ever
certainly
heard.
is. I'm kind of surprised it didn't do better,
Yeah.
quite honestly. But hey, they didn't ask me. It was up for 9 Drama Desk Awards. It won Music and Orchestration. It was up for 4 Tonys. It won the Music and Orchestration. So clearly everybody agrees
Yeah, it's a
that
beautiful
it sounds
score.
good. Okay,
Too
that's...
bad he couldn't get 2 people to sing it that could really
know.
sing it, you know. That's a shame.
And I want to mention that the guy who
just
played the
jumped.
husband in the show is one of my favorites. He was the lead originally in Urinetown.
Oh.
Hunter Foster, Sutton's brother.
I bet he gets tired of being called that.
I know. Well, how about this? Sutton is his sister.
Yeah, probably gets tired of that, too.
Maybe. I don't know. Pretty talented family all the way
Yeah, I
around.
was going to say. They probably have
Okay.
a nice Christmas.
Yeah. So there is my batter. And you just want to put this in a greased loaf pan. And you're going to bake it. Get this
What'd you
right.
grease it with?
Butter.
Butter, of course.
Butter. In it goes. Ooh. I was talking about my bowl action. Here we go. Don't want to spill any.
I tell you, you got onions somewhere and they smell fantastic.
They're coming. That's next.
That's not the onion topping for your butter bread, is it?
It's not. But I'm glad you said that because
There's a topping, isn't there?
the thing in this bread is they said, you know, you can either
It's really thick.
pour the butter on top or mix it in the dough. And I thought, you know, why not do both?
I was going to say,
So-
there's no choice about that.
No. So I added the amount they said to the batter, as you saw. That was a 1/2 cup of melted butter. And then I just added an extra 1/4 cup and pouring it on top.
There you go.
And you're going to bake it at 375. It says for about an hour, but you know, I would do about 20 minutes, turn your pan, another 20 minutes, test your bread. You want it to not get overcooked. In it goes.
I'm going to finish up these cookies, one tray of these cookies, and then I'm going to go on to my next dish because my oil's getting to about the right temperature.
Okay, then I'm going to start. I have 4 tablespoons of butter and a couple tablespoons of olive oil that are heating up in my stock pot. And I have 1 diced onion that I'm going to toss in there and start getting that going.
All right, so
Little sizzle, sizzle.
lovely.
Sizzle the dizzle. Here we go. Let me just point out how wonderful Brenna is. She's filming and she's taking things out of my hand at the same time. She's the best. Bring this up a little bit. There we go. So you want to let those cook for just a minute or two until your onions start to get translucent.
Translucent.
Translucent. And another container of beer is going in my soup.
More beer.
One of my favorite sayings is, what is it? Let me think. I love to use alcohol when I cook, and sometimes I even put it in the food.
I like that. All right, we're gonna work on the batter for our shrimp.
Okay. I'm gonna stir back here while you do
You
that.
stir.
I'll get this out.
All right, so this is coconut shrimp. So we're gonna use a cup of coconut. And we're gonna use a cup of panko breadcrumbs. Have you ever used panko before?
Yes, love panko.
And tell me what panko is, do you know?
Japanese breadcrumbs.
Yes, it doesn't have any crust in it.
Oh!
No crust.
Interesting.
I don't know that it really comes from Japan, but...
I don't either, but
So,
I've always heard
yeah.
it called that.
So I'm just doing a rough mix with my hand here. And then we're going to do our wet ingredients over here. So we're going to use 3/4 of a cup of beer. I'll use this down here. 3/4 of a cup.
It's funny that neither of us are beer drinkers.
I know.
It's never been, I tried in college. It was cheaper to buy a beer. It was a quarter draw. I'm dating myself. And it was 50 cents to get a soda.
Oh, well, there you go.
And here's something you'll find interesting and probably disgusting. For a while, I drank red beer. What is red beer? Tomato juice and beer.
Oh, that is disgusting.
Because I love tomato juice. And so I would try to develop a taste that way. Never did it. It's just not my cup of beer.
No. We're putting some
Oh,
flour
I
in
need
here.
that whisk again.
That's what I was saying. I need that whisk.
Where'd it go?
It's a 3-whisk episode.
Uh-oh,
and some
I'm going to
salt.
have to wash it off.
Oh, I need to hand it
Hold on.
here.
Hold on.
Let me get my shrimp while you're doing that. Oh, my shrimps are back here.
And now it's fascinating how many beer breweries, types of beer. I was at the store and it called for wheat beer, and there were Dunkels, and there were Hassenfessens, and I didn't know what's. I just bought the one that said wheat, but I'm sure there were other choices. Whisk.
Whisk, thank you.
There we go.
All right, I wanted to show you, let me whisk this up real quick. Our wet ingredients with our flour and our egg and our baking powder and
And
salt.
I'm going to pour in my bottle of beer, my onions are translucent. You
Okay.
want to pour this in and then let the alcohol cook off for about a
Okay.
minute. So in it goes.
Right. So we get that all whisked up.
I just want to point out this is coming nowhere near the top of the pan.
Well, that's good. You finally got one that worked for you.
Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't have to be totally smooth, but that's pretty good, I think. All right, I want to show you our shrimp. I would suggest if you want a good shrimp flavor to get fresh shrimp, which I always do. I have a place in town that I go get my fresh shrimp. So I wanted to show you how you clean your shrimp. I've cleaned all of them except for 2. You have to take the shell off, which I'm just unwrapping here. We're gonna leave the tail on, and then you want to just slightly open the back side here because there is something that you'll want to remove. Sometimes it's in there. I don't see it in this one. There's sometimes, yeah, there's a little bit of one.
Oh yeah. I'll have to get those cleaned out.
Yeah, get those clean. Take that out. Run it over under some water here. But you certainly don't want to eat that.
Nope.
So we've got one more to do, and then we'll be ready to batter our shrimp.
Batter up. We could have done a baseball musical,
We could.
but we didn't. We're doing Bridges of Madison County because it has Stephen Pascal in it.
Yes, that's
And
that's,
Kelly O'Hara.
that's
And Hutton Foster.
yes. Isn't he Sutton Foster's brother?
I hadn't heard that.
I think he is.
That's
All right.
interesting.
So we got our shrimp all cleaned and ready to go. So what we're gonna do is going to go to our dredging station here. So we've got our shrimp, and we've got our batter, and we've got our little plate that we're gonna put this on. So you want to take it by the tail, just dredge it through there, get the
Guess what? I'm going to need this whisk again.
Oh, of course you do. And then we just put the coating on there and away we go.
That's a big shrimp.
That's a big shrimp.
Oxymoron.
And that's about as exciting as it gets over here, so take them back to you.
Okay, well, luckily the whisk is clean and ready for action.
Yay.
We might want to invest in a couple more whisks. I don't know.
We could.
Okay, this has been simmering, and it doesn't take long with that alcohol kind of cooked out of there. So you want your soup to be thick, and in order to do that, we're going to add some flour. I'm going to do that now and whisk it in. About 2 tablespoons. Whisk that so it's nice and smooth. You don't want lumps.
No lumps.
No lumps. Oh, that smells good. The onion, the butter, the beer. See, that's already getting a little thick. And then the next thing, I have a stalk of broccoli, which I've cut up. And it goes.
Is that where you get the broccoli for the broccoli cheese?
Yes.
Just wondered.
And a little secret ingredient, nutmeg.
Nutmeg?
Nutmeg. Sprinkle in nutmeg. There we go. And if you want to do a total vegetarian soup, you could use vegetable broth. I'm using chicken, but your call. So in goes 32 ounces of chicken broth.
Sounds good to me.
Yep. Yep. That's the main ingredient. So we're going to add a little salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper.
Oh, I've trained him so well. I'm so proud.
No, I didn't think you were going to do it, so I think
I know. I'm so happy you did it. Here goes. I'm going to be under salt. Now we're going to let this come to a boil and cook down the broccoli a bit. Okay, so we're going to turn that heat up and I'm going to keep it covered because you want your broccoli to cook down and get kind of soft, because what we're going to end up doing is using an emulsifier or a hand blender. If any of you don't have one, it looks like this, and so you could put it into your soup. Got the little blade on it, and it chops up the broccoli, and you can do it as much or as little as you want. If you like the big chunks of broccoli, don't do it very much, but it does kind of make it creamier and better, so this is a great tool to have around.
Come over to this side. I've got some of my shrimp battered and ready to go. My oil's at 350 degrees. We're going to put these in for about 3 minutes. See.
Oh, this is so good.
I'm going to do about 4 at a time, so they don't get over saturated in the oil. And away they go.
Ooh, those look good.
Yep.
Why do they, like coconut shrimp, it's so popular, but it just seemed to like show up. I don't know, 10 years ago, all of a sudden it was coconut shrimp on different menus. And
I guess they got tired of the other stuff.
it does add a nice crunchiness. It's very visually pleasing.
And just like any other kind of shrimp, it doesn't take very long for these to cook. I'm going to get a plate out up here.
I'm gonna get this one up.
And I'm going to put some paper towel on it. Flip these.
Ooh, those look so good. A beer feast.
A beer feast for 2 non-beer drinkers.
Yes. I'd rather eat my beer than drink.
Yeah, I would too.
Brenna's not a beer drinker either. We'd rather eat our beer than drink our beer. I think we're onto something.
I think so too.
I'm gonna check on my bread. I know it hasn't been an hour, but through the magic, I'm gonna grab a hot pad.
Okay.
In here? Yes.
Smell that shrimp. Oh, look at that.
This is my loaf of beer bread. Set that right there. Like I said, so easy. I'm going to smear some butter on that in a minute while it's warm.
Are you busy doing anything now?
Not really.
Why don't you batter these and
Okay.
get them ready for me, please?
So they go here, here, and there.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm. Okay. Now, we happen to know that Brenna was in Bridges of Madison County. Who did you play, Brenna?
Marge.
That's
The neighbor.
the neighbor.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to ask you which bridge you played.
The next door one.
That's a great role.
And
As next door as you can be on a farm.
did you like that being in that show?
Oh yeah, it was great. The music is beautiful.
Good for the ensemble?
Not as much to do for the ensemble as well as far as being on stage, but they get to sing a lot, and the music is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had such good singers. It was wonderful.
When you're frying, you fry your first batch, and the oil gets less heated. It gets cooler. So you have to either let the second batch cook a little bit longer or wait until your oil gets back up to 350. So just know that. That's especially true in fried chicken.
That is a
'Cause
good
if yeah, and you always want to space your food out. You don't want to put all that in at one time.
Right. A little
I must say,
batter is getting.
they are turning out
Oh
quite
my!
lovely.
Those look good.
Quite lovely. And you see got the little handle on here.
Ah,
That's important.
I like food with a handle. Put on the
is your,
cob,
what is your handle? My handle is butter.
butter.
You know, the show takes place in Iowa.
I can handle. Oh, that's right.
America's Heartland.
We've tried Italian tonight. We didn't do that very well.
Okay, my soup is starting to boil.
Oh, it looks good.
I kind of want to talk to you. We're not going to get to the finished product tonight.
Doesn't look very cheesy to me.
No, it doesn't. So once it boils for... It's so funny. Once it boils for about 10 to 15 minutes, your broccoli should start getting really soft. And that's when you want to emulsify it. And if you don't have a hand blender, you could use a potato masher and just kind of mash it up a little bit. Or if you just like it chunky, that's fine too. So once you've done that step, after that you're going to add 2 cups of shredded cheddar.
There we go.
And then once that melts and it's all cooked, then you're going to finish it off with a cup to a cup and a half of half and half. You could use milk, depending on how rich you want to be, a little more health conscious, but it should be a cream-based soup. So you could do milk, half and half. You could throw in cream, but that might be a little too much. So when it's all finished, it's going to look like this.
Yum.
Look at that.
I love that.
That's your finished product.
I bet that goes really well with that beer bread.
I bet it does.
I'm going to finish up these 4, and that'll give us enough to taste.
Yes. And I'm going to slice up some beer bread.
Okay, I'll let you do that.
Which one has it serrated? There we go. Oh. Okay, here we go.
I'm going to leave that oil on, and we'll finish that up after we move.
That looks good. I think I put all my butter. Do you have any extra butter in your fridge?
Are you asking me if I got extra butter?
Do you have any butter out? That's all.
I don't have any butter out. That's all. Oh, yes, I do. I'm sorry.
Oh. Hey, Kevin.
In the pantry over here.
All right, because we want to put some butter on our
Some
beer
butter
bread.
for you.
Oh, here, and I need to get the little bowl.
That shrimp really looks lovely. I must say, I'm patting myself on the back on that one.
Good job. We're going to try a little soup, too.
Oh, a little soup. Lovely.
Soup for us.
Is that like a little priest from another show?
Kind of.
I'm gonna get.
This would be the brochure from that show because it's green.
Oh,
Ah,
Here
I know my Stephen Sondheim, baby. Ooh, there's our soft butter. Oh, my goodness.
And look how these cookies came out of the oven.
Oh, my
Ready
goodness.
for display.
It's magic. Oh, those look beautiful.
Yeah. See what I was talking about? They're really crisp around the edges here, and then there's nice and soft on the inside. And they don't taste like beer. The beer just gives it a nice consistency. If you don't mind sharing. I thought good.
Very subtle.
I think you could take powdered sugar glaze and glaze them up if you wanted to.
Yeah, so you
Or
could
you could
frost these, or
Put some chocolate on them. I mean, there's all kinds of things you could do with them.
those are very good.
Yeah. Let's try our soup.
Okay. We're gonna share.
Okay.
Always start with dessert first.
That's really good.
It is good. The beer kind of cooks off.
Yeah, and it's not so cheesy that it's overbearing.
Yeah, I love that broccoli.
I love the broccoli too. Should we have a shrimp?
I think we should. Now you could make a salad, but there's broccoli in the soup, so
Yeah.
I'm just saying. This looks so good, Kevin.
It's hot.
Oh. Nom nom. So good.
Don't let your oil
I
get too
love
hot.
fried shrimp.
Don't let your oil get too hot because then your batter will be done and your shrimp will not.
It'll be a whole Mexi roll debacle again,
Yeah.
and we don't want to go there.
Scroll back if you'd like to see that debacle.
Yeah, yeah, because we'd all want to see that again.
Well, let's see what. Oh, I was running the camera for that.
Here, put some bread in your mouth.
Oh, okay.
Buttered bread.
Buttered bread.
This is the beer bread. Tell me what you think.
That is fantastic. Why would you make bread any other way?
It's so easy.
It's so good.
And it's light. I think
It's very light.
putting, here's a tip, and read the recipe. Sift your flour. They're very clear that 3 cups of flour, that should be sifted flour, because if you get too much flour, it's going to get too heavy. And then that's also why I added the melted butter.
Sifting puts the air into it.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So, oh man, everything is a home run.
I would say.
If Francesca cooked like this,
Yeah.
I think he might have stuck around.
Yeah, he might have.
I still have some shrimp to eat.
I do too. So why don't we say see you next time and we'll have our shrimp. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.